Hopefully you've watched part one and you have your pivot table looking like mine. I've done it twice. Trying to make sure I liked how I did it. And I left the pivot table fields that you could use as a template for yours. Yours doesn't have to be exactly like that, your pivot table. And then also in part one, I covered that table. So now what you'll do, once you have your pivot table set up, you've compared your answers, what you'll do is you'll highlight this and you'll come over and you'll click. And what you'll do, if you're not careful, you'll end up just clicking the pivot table over. So you want to come down here and it'll give you more paste options than mine is showing right now. Let's see if it'll give you more paste options. Let me see if I can get it done. There we go. And you'll want to copy, I think that's the one, play around with it. Either one of those will work. And what you'll end up with is this. It's not formatted very well and it needs to be cleaned up. So let's look at what I have. Now again, this, if you watched my first video, hopefully you have, you'll realize that, oh, now look. So my computer in the screen capture software sometimes does not play nice. So go away, and now the little X thing is not there, and it's still not there. We're just going to ignore the pivot table command. So here's your agent report, and I think it looks nicer when you have little columns here. And so once you insert your blank columns into your work, it's just not letting me do anything. Into your work, you can size them. These are 2. The column width is 2. Right here, 2, and you can hit Control, and you can see how they're lit up. And it's not working because of my screen capture software. Sometimes just takes over my computer and won't let me do things. Anyway, and then you can just do them all at once. You can just, with them all, hit Control and then click these columns. And you can hit column width 2. And it might even look nicer, column width 1 than 2. Yeah, I think 1 looks nicer, so you might want to do 1. But I'm not taking off on it. I just make it look fairly neat. Yeah. There it goes. And it let me do it. See, they're both highlighted. I think they're both adjust now. Well, no, normally it will, and it's because of my screen capture software. You just highlight one and then press the Control key down, and all of them will highlight the ones you're pressing on, and you can just adjust all the columns at once. All right, so you want to get your dollar signs on the top row, dollar signs on the bottom row, and then this is top and double bottom border. It's quicker if you do that. And because you have the little nice little columns in between, it won't look like just one solid row, and that looks nicer. And that's why we do that. But what you want to do is before you do the columns, you want to get everything cleaned up the way you want. All right, so let's look at some of the formulas. To get the average days, do equal average if, and tell it to look in this column for the customer name. Let me go over to the right place. So it'll be table 1, customer name. And then to look here at ACCT. So look through that whole customer name column in the table. Then look for the customer name, ACCT, and then you tell it what to do. You tell it to average, and it's gone now. Right here's the average function. You tell it to go through the days outstanding column. right here and average everything that says Acme. So let's go over that again. Average if. Table 1, you look at the customer name column, right? And that's what it's looking for. And then it says, okay, every time you see Acme, go to the days outstanding column and average the numbers that are in the days outstanding column for Acme. Now, when you have that formula correctly done, you can just copy, click, and paste it down to Daytona, Main Street, Smith, and it'll automatically render the average days to pay. If you look at this, this solution has totals here for each company, Acme, Main Street, and they did the average here. I just thought that was a lot of extra work, and I didn't want to do it. All right, so I didn't do mine that way. I'm not going to do that way. I can do that one time, bam, I'm done. Get the formula right, copy, click, and paste. You know, just highlight that cell and drag it down, or right click, copy the formula, however you like to do it, okay? All right, so what else do we have here? All right, so time. Today's date, we're out of time. A lot of people say, I want to get the hours in there in addition to the time, right? Well, that's great. But if you do it the way that it's done here, month, slash, backslash, day, backslash, year, HH, colon, MM, colon, SS, and then in parentheses, quote, and quotation marks, Here again, quotation marks. You'll get military time. To get it into the 12-hour system that we're more familiar with, it would be begin quotation mark, month, day, year, space, HH, colon, M, AM, dash, backslash, PM. And then if you wanted the seconds, really wanted the seconds, you just did the same form with colon, SS, okay? I've never tried. I always do my caps, all caps for AM and PM, but I guess if you want a lowercase, you could do lowercase AM and lowercase PM. So I thought I'd cover that. I probably shouldn't have gone into that much detail, but I just wanted to show you that there is a lot more powerful functionality lurking inside of Excel than sometimes we realize. And then I want to show you one other thing. It is very important to me to show you this. A lot of times when people want to center, they'll go to the center command right here, right? Merge and center. And then when you try to add up a column, if you did merge and center in the middle, you can no longer add up your column. So what you want to do is you'll highlight what you want to format or center. Click on Format Cells. You could have gone through here too, page layout. No, Insert. It's been so long since I used the menu. If y'all noticed, looking at me work through here, I very rarely use the menu. It's mainly just what's on the home page and everything else. I try to just go with shortcut keys or when I can right click a mouse. So what you'll do, you want to center across selection. And if you do that, it will never interfere with your ability to add up a column. All right. Now, of course, for a header, you want to merge and center. You can. But I didn't. I think I pretty well did center across selection. I've just gone to more and more of doing that and avoiding the merge and center, because when you do the merge and center, you can no longer add up a column. All right, and you'll try to go through there and it just won't, and then Excel will give you an error message and it'll say you can't add it up because you got a merge and center column. Do you want to get rid of the merge and center? So don't do that. Go through Format and center across the area. So just highlight it and go into Format, center across the area, and then you're good. And then just remember that to change the letters, it's in this first cell, even though it's showing up over here. All right, so if I wanted to get rid of bold, I would go there. If I wanted to get rid of everything here, see how it goes and tells me it's really in that cell, and then when I get through, it goes back to there because it's centered through the formatting command. All right, and that'll give you this nice little report that we have to turn in. And again, to recap, this is what it needs to look like. Or close. Mine didn't look, oh, and then I forgot these. These are done super simple. This one is equal, and this one E15 divided by E15. And what you want to do, because you're dividing by E15 as your denominator, I'll come over here and do it real fast in mine, if it'll let me. It's just so unhappy right now. It'll let me, yeah. Divided by itself, and we'll get 100%. We're going to get 1. Let's get it into percent. Okay? Now, if I was to copy that, then it's going to move, and it's going to be 100% all the way through, because we want that bottom number here, this bottom number, AG12, to remain fixed. So you want to give it an absolute value. So you can hit F4, and it automatically put a dollar sign in front of the A and after the G. All right. You could have gone in here and did your own dollar sign before and after the letters, AG, before and after the letters if you wanted to, dollar sign, or you can hit F4 and it'll do it for you. Now, when you copy this over, Control C, Control V, Control V, Control V, Control V, and Control V, it copies it over automatically, and it's using AG12, 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 because it's got an absolute reference. So when you copy it over, it refuses to do anything for the denominator other than AG, what was it, 12, AG12, which is this right here. But this number changes, which is AI12, and this one will be AK12, and that one will be AM12. All right, so as you copy it over, the top number went and flowed right with the Excel columns, where the denominator didn't, because you gave it the absolute reference with the dollar signs in front and after the letter. All right, I guess technically it's in front of the letter and in front of the row number. So in front of the column letter, and then in front of the row number. So there's a dollar sign there. All right, so we have that. And it's faster just to hit F4, in my opinion. And now we have the percentages, and then these do add up to be 100%. All right, now, one last thing, and then we're done. I'm checking my time. I don't like to make long videos. Control squiggly. And Control squiggly. And it gives me, it changed the screen, right? Really crazy. And it gave me the formulas. So here's the AG with the absolute references. And then it's got the average if function. Pretty cool, right? And it doesn't have these numbers, formulas, right? But you'll give me, I'll be able to do this in your Excel file. I can go to your table or however you did it, and I'll see that you have the nested if and functions, the if function, and all the, and then that doesn't give me a formula, but I know that you either, you know, I'm not grading you on it, but it's still pretty cool, again, to type 30 and hit Control E, and it just updates the whole column. You can actually take a text file and do it that way too if you wanted to. It just takes longer. So make sure you watch the first video where I showed you how to bring the text file into Excel. All right, so if I did any more for you, I think I'd be doing your project. But anyway, so now you got some good formulas to practice with. If you want to do it a different way and your way is accurate and it uses the Excel functions and formulas to make your life easier and more productive, I'm going to give you full credit. But I am looking for the majority of everything from the text file forward to this report to be driven by formulas. Okay, like here, if I hadn't done the Excel pivot table, I could have just done equals and then copied whatever from a column and brought that in if I wanted to. All right, so there's different ways of doing it. I look forward to seeing how you chose to do it and how good it can look. And if you have any questions on Excel, I always like to talk about Excel. This concludes the video, part 2, Excel project, part 1.